Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leandra the TBR Zero, and my goal is to lessen my physical TBR one book at a time. Speaking of TBR, you are here today because you're interested in seeing how I'm gonna set up my one for February. I'm also interested. I have no idea how it's gonna go, but I have a lot of readathons, reading plans that I have to get done. And of course, because I promised you and myself, I am leaving it up to the fates of TBR games. I'm gonna be choosing every single month a different booktuber to highlight, to watch their TBR game, to accept whatever prompts, punishments, rewards, or challenges they set in their own path, and I'll be on that journey with them. I'm hoping to highlight a different booktuber every single month and throw in a few that I've never met before, that I've never really interacted with, because while this is meant to be a collaborative, fun process, introducing you to the fun games that other booktubers have, I want to introduce myself as well. So once in a while, including this month, I am going to choose someone that I already know, that I already really love, and that I just want to make sure everyone else in my community loves too. I will be throwing in a few wild cards where I'm introducing myself to a new creator, because that's the beauty of it. That's why I'm doing more collaborative work on my channel, because it's really the most fun, the most rewarding content when I'm doing that compared to other stuff that I do. So I hope you have fun, because I plan on having fun as well. And that brings me to the first person. Who's the first booktuber whose TBR game I'm going to be letting decide my February TBR? Well, good question. That is Bree from Four Paws in a Book. She has a really interesting TBR game that she's been doing on her channel for quite some time via Kerplunk. Honestly, a classic game that we probably all know, whether we participated in it as kids, as adults. I actually never really participated in Kerplunk myself, but I am aware of it existing. And so I look forward to watching her play and seeing what prompts she forces me to do with her. I'm hoping to only provide snippets of her playing where you know what prompts I have to do, and then you get to see my entire TBR being created. But then the goal is that you're going to be intrigued to know what she does. Which books is she going to add to her TBR due to the prompts she selects? Below, you're going to find a link to her video. Please go support her. Please go like, comment, let her know where you came from if you only know of her through me, just to show that, you know, we're showing collaboration and supporting each other, because that's really the goal here. I don't want to be taking other people's content, other people's views. I just want it to be a very fun, celebratory process, because BookTube is just a great community. So I hope that that makes sense, and I'm really looking forward to, and a bit scared to see what Bree has set up for us. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens.
Another month, another very ambitious TBR.
That doesn't sound great.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Verona and this is Four Paws in a Book. I make bookish videos over here on my little corner of the internet, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below. January was a month. We're back in Kerplunk full swing, and technically January for Kerplunk was actually great. Because of everything that I've had to read for this month and like for content stuff, I have a reading calendar. Like on my Apple calendar, look, you can see this. There's a lot going on here, but it is slated in for the last week of the month, so I do think that I'll be able to finish these. Let's go ahead and see how many sticks we need to pull for this month. We've got the purple dice this month, and I don't know if you can see that, but we're gonna try. Okay, here we go. Maybe I should fix the lights. Okay, here we go. We're going to see how many we need to pull. Okay. We have another 5 again. That's not a bad number.
We can do that. That's okay.
All right, let's go. All right, here we go. I'm not going to go over all of the rules, but remember, green is set in the past, orange means it's set in the present, and yellow means that it's set in the future. Black cards are the ones that I'll pull if marbles drop. I am not confident in this tower at all. I don't think I built it very well. But here we go. We're just going to get started. All right, we got a green.
Okay, green.
We have a KU book.
So I actually am not a subscriber to KU, but you know what I can do? I can use it a bit differently and actually apply it to maybe a subscription that I have been a part of in the past. I haven't renewed my subscription to the Mysterious Bookshop just because I have so many books that I've subscribed and have received from them that I haven't gotten to, that this could be a really perfect choice. Or I could lean into the fact that being a KU Kindle Unlimited, an ebook version, I could choose to do an ebook that I have. I feel as though that Neither of those options is me straying too far away from the actual prompt, but I didn't think about the fact that I'm not a subscriber to KU. But I think we came up with two solutions. We'll see which one I choose.
All right, pick number 2. Go. A book that doesn't take place on Earth.
Okay, so I just saw what Bree has chosen for that one, and I'm like, girl, what are you doing? That is definitely not a book I'll be reading for this specific prompt. If that intrigues you, again, go watch Bree's video, because oh my goodness, that actually startled me, but I'm still processing. So for this one, I have a few ideas. So yeah, I'm excited. Okay, this is working out really well for me. I was really nervous.
Okay, pick number 3. I'm feeling a little bit more confident now. All right, we've got a book for a vlog.
I love that, actually. I didn't realize that that was a part of her prompts, because that provides a lot of flexibility for me. Thanks, Bree. You're really looking out for me. This is great. No complaints, no notes.
Pick number 4.
We only have one more after this.
I'm gonna pick. Let's go with this one here. Okay. This actually says a book for a project, which is the same thing as the one I just got. Apparently I did not shuffle these well enough, so I'm actually gonna pick another one just to keep things interesting.
Come on, Bree, what the heck?
All right, we've got orange on the cover. You know, orange makes sense.
This works really well because for Bookemon, which I already mentioned in my intro, I am trying to read as many books that do count for Bookemon prompts, because it's a year-long readathon and there's so many prompts, there's so many activities that I want to make sure I'm participating in. And the fact that there's an orange cover, that brings to mind the chicken prompt, which has to have orange or yellow, but also black and white. And so that orange, yeah, I can work with this. Good. I got nervous when she repolled, and I was like, this is the end. This is where it's all going to go downhill, but it worked out.
And what will hopefully be our last pick.
Hopefully.
Do green or yellow? I say we do yellow. We don't do a lot of like sci-fi futuristic ones, and I think, oh no, oh well, that one's gonna fall. All right, I didn't realize that my card was full, so it didn't actually film me doing this, but here we go. This was pick number 5, which was sci-fi.
It happens, am I right?
I haven't picked the card yet, though. Hopefully that was the only clip that I missed. That would suck if it wasn't. A small book.
I just remembered that all of these colors are associated with past, present, or future. So I'm gonna have to keep that in mind when I'm actually grabbing these books. But a small book, yeah. Oh my goodness. Is this working out? Like, I really was ready for disaster, but maybe after TBR-athon and the craziness, the booktube gods are like, we're gonna be kind to you. And also to Bree, apparently. Also, the book that Bree has chosen for this one, oh my gosh, that's on my TBR. So maybe I'll choose it or maybe I won't. You're gonna have to find out and see if we ended up choosing the same book. But that's a good choice. That was a good idea.
That's all I have for you today. If you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon.
Woohoo! Bye! Now it's time for me to choose those books. It has been a few days. It has also been a handful of drafts that I've had to scrap and start over because I'm trying to make every single book count for this February TBR, but we made it and we're here, and I'm going to be showing you 12 books. I plan on breaking it up in parts. 4 books that I'll be showing you first off will actually be the winners from a video I did not long ago where I asked subscribers to vote on my TBR for Team TLC for a readathon that is happening this February, Battle of the Girl Bands. There were 4 prompts. I gave 2 options for each one, and I'm really excited about them. I also have to say that a handful of you ended up voting for every single winner, which is very impressive, and one of them I find very funny, and I'll get to that in a moment. So after I show you those though, I'm then going to show you the 5 books that I'll be reading for Kerplunk, thanks to Bree. And then on top of that, I also have a few buddy reads or book club books that I really want to get to in February. And that's really all it's going to be. I will say that there are a handful of books that I won't be showcasing that I also want to read in February, but I don't want to talk your ear off, and they're really hopefuls in the fact where I don't know if I'm going to get to them or not, or they're part of secret projects that I don't really want to show you just yet. And as excited as I am about them, I'm also wondering if I've bit off more than I can chew, because it's a bit funny to think of how large this TBR is when I'm entering the shortest month of the year. Granted, February has given us one extra day this year, and we'll take what we can get, but another 24 hours isn't really going to help me as far as completing this TBR. So basically, I'm asking you all to wish me luck while I provide excuses for why I might not actually complete it. Either way, I really stacked the deck this month. There are so many reads that I'm extremely excited for, which makes me nervous. I'm entering the month with extremely high expectations, higher than even in January, and I was hosting a massive readathon in January, but there are just some books that I'm really anticipating loving, part of series that I'm expecting to love too, and so there's a lot riding on it, and I'm really hoping that nothing disappoints me to the point where it's a 2 or 1 star or a dreaded DNF. So cross your fingers for me. All right, so for the winners of Battle of the Girl Band prompts, I have to first and foremost highlight those who ended up getting it right. There were 4 of you, and that includes Jody, Jen, Michael, and Kaylin. And among those, what I find very funny is that Michael, specifically being on a different team, being the enemy, said, I am voting for the books that I actually don't like or I'm not interested in, because that's how competition works. And I find that hilarious that all 4 of them ended up winning. With that said, I think I'm going to enjoy them either way. And Michael, I might convince you in the end to read them as well if I give them high ratings. So ha 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 ha, maybe this was part of my plan as well. Anywho, thank you all for voting, whether you ended up voting for all the winners, all the losers, or a mixture of them in between, because it was really fun to see what combinations were happening, what was maybe going through your heads as you were picking which book and what kind of readers you are. So I had a fun time with the process, and I think I'm going to do it again because I really enjoyed it, and all 8 books were interesting to me. I would have enjoyed reading them. So it's a win-win no matter which books you tell me, and I get to blame you if I don't like it. So it's, less accountability for me, I guess. All right, so for the prompt of a book with a doctor in it, the winner ended up being The Lost World. This is by Michael Crichton. I will say the gorgeous cover probably helped. Also the fact that this is the sequel to the Jurassic Park book. Not surprising. Oh my goodness. I'm really looking forward to it. And I've been trying to get more into sci-fi this year, so it's perfect for me. I'm really excited. I know that it follows Dr. Ian Malcolm. He's the mathematician. That was a bit suave, a bit sarcastic, but honestly right in the end for what his convictions were, why he was against Jurassic Park. But now he's being thrown back into the world 6 years later, and I have seen the film. I'll just be interested to see how similar they are or how different. The next book that ended up winning among the voters, and it was so lovely to see a lot of people say that they recommend it because of family members or friends who adored this book, and I'm really glad I have the excuse to finally read it. That is A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. This was for the prompt of a book that is set in Georgia. It's not set in Georgia the entire time, but it does start in Georgia because Bill and his friend, they end up traveling from beginning to end the Appalachian Trail as a bit of an homage to nature, to the American wilderness, after he lived in Europe for about 20 years. So it's him kind of returning to his roots as well. And I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. I think I'm gonna try and get the audiobook in which Bill Bryson is reading it aloud to me just to really enjoy it. I have read parts of it through articles because some of the chapters have been published separately. So I do already have a bit of a gist of his writing, the humor that is also mixed in with his love of being surrounded by nature and just appreciating where he is. So I'm so excited. It also definitely adds to the fact that I'm trying to read more nonfiction this year. On top of that, more environmental nonfiction. It's not the only one that I have a goal of reading in February, but it's definitely going to be my priority because it's on this official TBR. The next one was honestly back and forth. I wasn't sure for the longest time as I was going through the votes which one I was going to read because one kept surpassing the other as the voting was going, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exciting. And that is Murder Under a Red Moon by Harini Nagendra. Now this is the second book in the Bangalore Detectives Club series, and I am really excited to get into it. I'm also really fortunate because Pegasus Books ended up giving me this finished copy. They gave me the arc of the first book as well. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. The characters are super endearing, and I learned a lot as far as the British Raj goes. And so I think I'm going to continue to learn a lot on top of just enjoying the mystery, enjoying the character development as I get to know these characters more and more. I am just, yeah, I'm really excited about it. Thank you all for voting for it. And this ended up fitting the BIPOC/LGBT plus author prompt. Obviously, I went with the former rather than the latter, but you know I'll be mixing in a lot. And on top of that, just so everyone knows, the other title by Vanessa Riley, Murder in Westminster, I didn't end up putting it on my physical TBR because it didn't win, but I do recognize that February is Black History Month. We have readathons like Blackathon happening, and even though I'm not participating in that, I do plan on adding a few Black authors to my TBR that might not be featured here, but I'll be making sure to do it. Even though this one won, and we like to support all types of BIPOC authors, I want to make sure that I'm highlighting that, even though, if we're going to be honest, Blackathon, Black History Month, we should be reading Black authors, Black stories all throughout the year. I wanted to let you know that I recognize that this is a time to just like pause, take inventory of your TBRs, of the books that you're exposing yourself to, and making sure that you have a good balance of different voices from all different walks of life. So yeah, as excited as I am about this one, I may have to squeeze in Murder in Westminster because I'm also really excited about it, or some other book that features a Black author. The final book that was voted upon by my subscribers and won is Three Sisters Flew Home by Mary Fitt. Now this one, what was it for? Why can't I remember what the prompt even was? I remember that it was up against a Craig Rice novel that I was really excited about. Oh, a book that starts with the letter T. That's easy. So yeah, Three Sisters Flew Home. It is a classic Golden Age mystery. I haven't read Mary Fitt before, so this is going to be a new to me author. It seems as though it has some classic elements, including a house party where a bunch of people who have arrived don't really realize that they're in for quite a hectic night. It seems as though it's a bit of a revenge plot as well. They play a murder game too, and so you know it's gonna be fun. Now on to the 5 books I'm gonna be reading thanks to Bree's game, Kerplunk. The first prompt that she ended up pulling was a KU book, and because it was a green stick, it has to be set in the past. Now I am not a subscriber to KU, so I did have to alter the prompt a little bit, but I am going to be reading an ebook with my e-reader, and it's actually going to be an arc that I received from NetGalley quite some time ago. The book has been published since, and I still haven't read it, so thank you, Bree, for keeping me accountable. The book I'm going to be reading is actually a historical mystery, and it's also middle grade, which is very exciting for me because I do have a video planned in the coming weeks, maybe coming months, depending on when I get to it, but it's gonna add to it, which is really great. And the book is The Improbable Tales of Baskerville Hall. I'm really looking forward to this because it's a bit of a retelling. We see this a lot, especially in mysteries, when we have an author or a detective that is well loved, that is well over 50 plus years old, and then someone decides to kind of reenact them, either the fictional character or the author themselves. And this time around, we have Arthur Conan Doyle being fictionalized. He is a child who attends this boarding school, Baskerville Hall, and it seems as though he and his friends get up into some interesting happenings. It seems as though it's a bit of a genre blend as well, as far as my understanding goes, so it might not be a straight historical mystery. There might be some fantastical or sci-fi elements involved too, and I'm intrigued to see what happens. So that's going to be the book I fulfill for that prompt. The second prompt that Brie ended up getting was from a yellow stick, meaning that it's futuristic, and the prompt itself was a setting not on Earth. Now this one I am so excited for because it was a Christmas gift, and I can't wait to read it. The book I've chosen is The Spare Man. Look at that cover. It looks so fun. This is by Mary Robinette Cowell, and I've actually never read anything by her before, but there was a book I was looking at recently, and it's translated by her, which is just really intriguing to know an author who is versatile in that way. This is a space opera mystery, and it seems as though it's an alternate history on top of that. I'm gonna read the synopsis because I'm just so excited about it. Tesla Crane, a brilliant inventor and an heiress, is on her honeymoon via an interplanetary space liner. Ah, what a setting. Cruising between the moon and Mars, she's traveling incognito and reveling in her anonymity. Then, someone is murdered, and the festering chowderheads who run security have the audacity to arrest her spouse. Armed with banter, martinis, and her small service dog, Tesla is determined to solve the crime so that the newlyweds can get back to canoodling. and keep the real killer from striking again. What? I'm so pumped. Yeah, this is also going to be a part of a certain video idea that I'm really excited about. And so thanks, Brie, again, for making sure that I get to prioritize a book I want to prioritize. The third prompt that we received is a book for a vlog, and because it was a red stick, it has to be set in the present, and I had the perfect book for this. And what's really exciting is I know I'm not the only person reading it this year within my friend group, so I'm really looking forward to be able to talking to people who've already finished it or those who are reading it in February. It also works really well for a certain steel prompt that I want to get done for Battle of the Girl Bands 2, and I think I'm gonna have a good time with it. It's also the season of love because I'll be reading Say You'll Be Mine. This is by Naina Kumar. It is a debut novel, which I really love to support. I love getting to know new authors at the beginning of their careers, and it looks so cute. It looks really fun. It's gonna be a romance that involves apparently some funny, sizzling entertainment, a fresh, compelling voice, and lovable characters made me fall head over heels for Say You'll Be Mine. Oh my gosh, rimmed with emotion, chemistry, and all the best micro tropes. A romance lover's dream. I'm not really a romance lover, I'm not gonna lie, but I do want to get back into romance because I had a bit of a dry spell in the fall and winter because of a certain book that we won't name, and I want to get back into it, especially after enjoying Get a Life Chloe Brown so much. I'm like, okay, Leandra, you can feel safe to return to romance, contemporary romance, and see if you're having a good time with it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. On top of the fact that Julie from Keep Calm with Books and Coffee is reading it in February apparently, and then Katy from I Would Rather Be Reading read it as an arc, so I already know I'm gonna have friends to talk to about it, so even more of a priority to read it ASAP. The fourth prompt that Kerplunk gave us was orange on the cover, and because it's red, it's also meant to be in the present, and the book I chose has so much orange to the point where it fits this prompt and then some. This is called Radiant Heat. It's by Sarah Jane Collins. It's a brand new book just published this past month. I ended up being the reason that my library got it because I added it to our potential distribution list saying, hey, this is an up-and-coming book, maybe we should support this author, and apparently our director ended up agreeing. So now we have it, and I'm going to be the first one to read it, so I really hope it's good so I can recommend it to our patrons. What I'm really looking forward to is the fact that it's actually an Australian author. She is based in New York now, but her bio is very humorous. She mentions the fact that even though she sees New York as home, she misses the Australian beaches, but she doesn't miss the spiders, which I found very hilarious. And what's really intriguing about this is I think it is going to be eco-fiction. It is a mystery through and through, but the premise, the start of this novel really gripped me. It says, when a catastrophic wildfire suddenly rips through a woman's hometown, she thinks she is lucky to have survived, until she finds a dead woman in her driveway, clutching a piece of paper with her name on it. Holy crap, can you imagine? So I'm wondering how much social commentary is going to be on wildfires, on climate change, and the climate crisis. And if it's only a little bit, that's okay. I still think it's really important to have a setting like this for us to kind of be informed and be intrigued and maybe encourage some people to become a bit more educated about it. On top of the fact that I'm wondering how much this is going to lean into suspense and thriller, because we always see authors blurring that line, and the premise does make me wonder if it's going to be more of a thriller, which is great because it's something I'm trying to get more into. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, especially kind of suburbia, the whole Disturbia atmosphere. I love that kind of stuff. Like, domestic thrillers are my favorite. And finally, the kindest prompt that we received was a small book. This was another yellow one, meaning that it has to be futuristic, and I ended up choosing The Mimicking of Known Successes. This might be interesting to those of you who end up watching Bree's video, which should be everyone who watches this one, so we can support a fellow booktuber, but I had to do it. It's been on my list for a long time, and it was really opportunistic. I had to put in a request through ILL, through interlibrary loan, because my own library system doesn't have it. And that means we reached out to all of our libraries in the state to see if someone would be willing to give me this book, and we got it. And now, again, I want to be respectful and return the book ASAP, so it's probably going to be one of the first books I read this month. It's by Malka Older. It is the beginning of a space opera mystery series, so you can see we're going on a theme this month with yet another one. And what's really great about this one is that it was recommended to me by Ro, who is someone that most of the book community, at least our neck of the woods, knows, and he is just chock full of recommendations. I'm really looking forward to it. I also have the audiobook through Libby, so I'm probably going to immersive read it, and I want to go in as blind as possible, so I really don't know much more about it, but it's really short. It's going to be fun. Yeah. I like it. I'm excited. And that brings us to the last few books that I'm going to be reading for February, and they mainly include book club read-along picks. One of them for the B&K book club is 1984 by George Orwell. A few of us back in 2023 were talking about reading this, and Kelsey and Brittany kindly decided to add it as a bonus book for their book club, and I'm really looking forward to that. I don't have the book right now with me, but I am going to the library in a few days to work, and so while I'm there, I will make sure to pick up a physical copy for that. And then another book that I'm doing for a buddy read with Danni over at Danni Dabbles is, drumroll please, I actually don't know if I have a sound for that, so we probably won't have it. Sorry, just imagine it. The book I am getting you excited for is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. It's the second book in Heather Fawcett's Emily Wilde series, and I'm really looking forward to it. That one I'm going to be listening to. No, I'm not. That one I'm going to be reading on ebook through Libby. I'm just waiting for my hold to come in. I hope it comes in soon. And a pre-order I'm really excited to hopefully get to in February, because I'm trying to like read my pre-orders when they come in, and this is my first pre-order of the year, so it should, you know, take all of my attention. That is The Cursed Rose by Leslie Vedder. This is the third and final book in the Bone Spindle trilogy. I read The Bone Spindle as a reread in January. I'm hoping to read The Severed Thread as well if I can find time. I do have the audiobook as well, so I might just refresh myself with that just to kind of get myself prepared for this third book, and we'll see if I can throw it in for February. If not, it's okay if I have to throw it in for March. So those are the 12 books that I'm hoping to read in February, but that's not all. I do have a handful of books on my lap that I will be showing you as well, because I'm just so excited about them, and I really am hoping to get to them. Now that would add us up to 16 books in February, which is a lot more than I actually will probably end up reading in January. And I'm talking about January in the present / future because I'm recording this in January. But I'm just excited about them, so I'm going to show you anyway. This Wretched Valley by Jenny Kiefer. Were the climbers murdered? Did they succumb to cannibalism? Or are their impossible bodies the work of an even more sinister force? This dread-inducing debut builds to a blood-curdling climax and will leave you shocked by the final twist. Eek! Oh my gosh, look at that. The cover is honestly terrifyingly gorgeous too. Wild Girls. I'm really excited about this one. It is by Tia Miles. I know I've never read anything by her before, but it is nonfiction, and it says how the outdoors shaped the women who challenged a nation. This beautiful meditative work of history puts girls of all races and the landscapes they loved at center stage and reveals the impact of the outdoors on women's independence, resourcefulness, and vision. Oh my gosh, it sounds so amazing. And if you're interested in reading a nonfiction by a BIPOC author, by a Black author, definitely check this out. It's a brand new release, and I'm really excited to get to it. Station Eternity by Mur Lafferty. Yeah, that's how it is, Lafferty. What a funny little last name. Stuck smack dab in the middle of an extraterrestrial whodunit and wondering how in the world this keeps happening to her, Mallory has to solve the crime, and fast, or the list of victims could grow to include everyone on board. And finally, a book that I'm 100% reading in the next week, so I don't know why I didn't add it into my 12 books list, now that I'm thinking about it, is Midnight on Beacon Street. Now this is another debut. It's by Emily Ruth Verona. It's super short. This was also gifted to me by the publishers, so thank you, Harper Perennial, and it looks really good. It's set in October 1993. It says a suspenseful debut thriller and love letter to vintage horror movies, I guess we're thinking Scream and the like, in which a babysitter must overcome her own anxiety to protect two children when strangers come knocking at the door. I suppose that premise actually brings to mind like Halloween more, but you get the gist. Chock full of nods to classic horror films of the 70s and 80s, Midnight on Beacon Street is a gripping thriller full of electrifying twists and a heartwarming tale of fear and devotion that explores our terrors in the lengths we'll go to keep our loved ones safe. Yeah, that sounds really cool too. Okay, this TBR got out of control real quick. Do I regret anything? No, but I'm really looking forward to February. I think it's going to be great. I think I'm going to have a lot of great fun with some friends on reading sprints, doing the readathon, participating in my own way in Bree's Kerplunk game, just added to it. And I really hope that you enjoyed the new format for my TBR videos, because I didn't do TBR videos last year, but bringing them back this year and switching things up a little bit has just freshened the concept for me, and I'm pumped. So I hope you enjoyed it too. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to go watch Bree's video as well to support her, to see what picks she ended up doing for these prompts, because we both went completely different ways for most of them. One of them we went a very similar way, and that's all I'll say about it. If you end up enjoying her content, make sure to like and subscribe for her. Comment below that you ended up watching her video thanks to my recommendation. And also, if you want, you can always like and subscribe for me too. That would be very nice. But either way, I hope you all have a great day. I hope you have some great plans for February, and I really do hope to see you in the next one. Bye!